Thank you for joining us, for shining the light on our community. And today we have a very, very special guest, a wonderful special guest, Carol, who's joining us all the way from Northern America.
Ohio.
Oh, thank you. To talk about the power of vision, the three keys to mastering our result. This is such an interesting topic, Carol. So thank you for joining us. And just let me tell all our listeners a little bit about you, because you've got such an interesting life, and I wanted to get know more about your life. But Carol, you're a certified life mastery coach, which is wonderful, and you believe that we are more powerful than we know. That's gone straight into my heart. You're speaking my language. It's wonderful. Carol helps women who have gone through a major life change to reconnect with their dreams and learn to live a life they love, which is so needed, and such a common thing in today's world, that so many people are just living a lot, like existing without actually experiencing and enjoying and loving the lives that we are meant to live. So thank you so much for joining us, Carol. It is an honor to be able to chat with you today. Let's start. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Let's get to know you as a person, and what has brought you on your journey to where you are now.
Okay, great. Thank you, Sophia, so much for this opportunity to share. Um, my background is that I was working in a manufacturing company. In fact, I was an IT manager in a manufacturing company here in the States, and also worked in the quality department. Our company got bought out by a bigger company, and they said, "Oh, we have an IT department. We don't need you as IT manager anymore." I got moved to a new department. So that
Sure.
was kind of a shock there, because I lost my identity as an
Yes.
IT manager,
Yes.
which was something I had worked really, really hard to attain.
Yes.
And so that was one thing that happened. And then during that time, my husband was ill.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was also a caretaker for him. And then he was starting to get a little bit better. And he went down to Florida, and I was going to meet him down there. And the next morning, he didn't call me like he always did every morning. And he passed away down there. And that was, I mean, he had been ill, but he wasn't that ill that we thought that he would just be gone.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember going to the doctor's office the following week. And, here in the States, you have to fill out these forms, and it asks you, are you married, single, widowed? What's your status? And I thought, oh my gosh, I need to check off widow. There was another identity
Mm-hmm.
lost,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And then a year after that, my company was getting so crazy, being bought out, and everything was changing so much. I said, I'm not. It wasn't doing me any good, and I wasn't doing them any good. And I
Mm-hmm.
decided to retire early, and I left.
Mm-hmm.
So now I lost my whole work identity,
Yes.
and I'm sitting there thinking, well, who am I?
Yeah. Yeah. That
Right?
is like, I get it. I really connect. We spend so much of our lives identifying with the roles that we're playing. And then when those roles are taken away from us, we don't have any identity left. So thank you. Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
And things. And how did you get to where you are now, from losing your identities, from losing your perceived, if I may say, our perceived identities, because they're not our real identities, but our
Right.
roles, to where you are now, to helping other people?
Well, I kind of went on a search,
Mm-hmm.
and I started going online to see what might be out there. And I ran into Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi online, and I
Yes.
signed up for their knowledge broker business or business broker, KBB
Yes. Yes.
program.
Yes.
And they were teaching people about how to start businesses online.
Yes.
And I went through that. And at first I thought, well, maybe I'll, do some business online. But it wasn't my true calling, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I found some other groups and I got involved with Mary Morrissey.
Yes.
And Mary Morrissey is very spiritual based. And, she's just like your best friend that you could go talk to. And so I started going to her Brave Thinking Master classes. And so, what a great concept of common hour thinking versus brave thinking, right? And so I really, really resonated with what she was teaching. And they offered a coaching program. And so I decided to go for it. And I dove into the coaching program and spent a year really learning the material and studying to become a coach.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
And so that's how I ended up where I'm at now.
And following your life's calling, or your purpose at the moment is to helping other people to go through losing all our identities and roles and getting back to our true self. Which is wonderful. I just want to thank you and honor you because it's such a needed thing, and it's so valuable. That's the word that I'm looking for in my brain that's still trying to wake up and connect the dots. It is so valuable because that's why I really resonate with what you're saying, Carol, because I also spent many years of my life identifying with physical roles and realizing that, if those roles were taken away, I'd have nothing left, which is not true. So it's getting back into what's under those roles. So let's move on to, now we want to talk about the power of vision. So what does that actually mean? Is it vision, or as in seeing things, or are we talking about the visioning for our greater good?
It's really kind of a form of dreaming about
Okay.
what you would love
Okay.
and making that dream so vivid,
Yeah.
right? It's and you want to, when you're building your dream, you want to make it like present tense, that you're in it now. And you want to use all your senses in that so that you can really feel it. And so you're building up that energy level and the vibration that you're in the dream. What would it feel like if this dream was fulfilled? And you have that vibration level of that dream by feeling it in all of your senses. And by raising your vibration, you're really attracting to you more things that are on that higher vibration level. And so that's when we're talking about visioning. It's really, really thinking about what would I love? And
Yeah.
that's the question you want to ask yourself. Because so many times we ask ourselves, what do I think I can do? Right? What do other people want me to do? Yeah. What does society think I should do, or the economy say I can do, versus putting all that aside and really looking at what would I really love? What would I love to do?
Mm. Mm. And again, you're talking my language too about, like raising our vibration and connecting our dreams, what we want, what we love to do with our vibration. That when we do focus on raising our vibration, then our dreams become a reality. We step into the vision. Another one of my mission, I guess, or desires in the world is to help others to realize that raising our vibration is actually the most important thing that we could ever do. And stuff, because everything else then happens, which is why, I love talking to you. And so you actually have some dream building principles. that you share, that you work with other people so people can come and work with you on a one-on-one basis?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, I can coach one-on-one, or I can do group coaching too. Probably not more than 1 to 5 or 6, because you want to have that still kind of one-on-one experience. But some people like to be in a small group because they can share ideas off each other, like, the idea of the mastermind, right? Where we're
Yes.
we're bringing ideas in from others as well.
Yes.
And so the first principle really is creating that dream, because it's
Yes.
kind of a three-step process, right? We're blueprinting what the dream is going to look like. We're bridging from where we're at to where we want to go. And then we're building, which is, nothing happens without the action steps, right? So we're
Yeah.
building.
We're building.
And the fourth phase of that, all along all of that, is who we become in the process.
Yeah.
So sometimes the actual dream itself doesn't fully mature within the time frame that we're working together, but your awareness grows,
Yes.
and you have tools in your tool belt that you've accumulated. So now you're able to face things,
Yeah.
that come to you.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, I mean, I know I've said it, but it's such a valuable thing. And to be able to, to have all these tools, as you're saying, that you help people with, to have that dream, but to make the dream into a reality. I know with a lot of manifesting, there is a concept or a belief that manifesting just happens like that, right? But it's needing to raise your vibration, to take the action, to take the steps, and to be able to build your dream, to make your dream into a reality. Wonderful stuff. And we can find out more about on your website, the Carol Connection.
Yes, carolconnection.com.
.com. Wonderful.
And
And
you
Facebook.
could connect with me there, send your email to me, and then I would be more than happy to invite you to a free vision workshop,
Yes.
which it goes about an hour to an hour and a half, depending how many people and how many questions that we have. And we go in a little deeper to the first three steps. And of course, the first step is, what would I love? And the second step is deciding for it, right? And that, there's a wonderful quote from Bob Proctor, who, of course, we lost earlier this year.
Yes.
But, Bob said there's this one thing that we can do that can change like our whole direction of our life, right? And what is it? It's to make a decision.
Yes.
Because sometimes we sit there and we're so wishy-washy. Should I or shouldn't I? Maybe I could do this or maybe I could do that. And if we just decide on one thing and go for it, maybe it wasn't the right decision, but you don't know until you do it.
Yeah.
And then you
Exactly.
can always adjust.
Exactly. Totally and absolutely, and I really believe that too. We don't know if something is right for us or not until we actually do that. So thank you for sharing that, and I apologise for the noise in the background at the moment. So Carol, just tell us a little bit, because we will put all your links in the comments for people to get in, for anyone who is watching us live or on the replay, of course, and having a chat with our beautiful Carol, who's talking about the power of visioning. How important it is. So tell us, Carol, if you throughout your life and the journey that your life has taken you, what is one of the most important lessons that you have learned?
I think for me, it's been in a mode of continuing education.
Yes.
When I was working, I went back to college, and first I got an associate's degree, then I got a bachelor's degree, then I went on and got an MBA, and that helped me on the logical side of myself, right? In my IT role and quality role and all the different roles that I've had at work. But then I also, through those years, studied Wayne Dyer and Deepak Chopra and, other maybe more other people who may be not nationally known or internationally known, but people who helped me with mindset.
Yes.
Because when I was dealing with my husband who was sick, I had to decide, what am I doing? Our situation changed. It wasn't really a partnership so much anymore. It was more caregiver to him. And I had to decide, what am I doing? And I was on the fence there for a while until somebody said, well, you have to make a decision. You can't live on the fence. Either you stay or you go. And if you stay, you stay with the intent of making the best of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I did.
Mm-hmm.
And we were together for almost 30 years until he passed.
Mm-hmm. Which is wonderful.
But I think that continuing education and getting ideas and learning to expand how we look at things has probably been the biggest
thing
lesson for me.
So constantly learning, in various different ways, whatever the universe, whatever field, or, that you've been shown for, whatever path that you're on, but constantly learning about that path. Thank you. And with your, your life, that from what you've lived before, with your husband and before he passed, and when you were working, all those different roles and labels as you're talking about, compared to now, like now you well, I'm assuming that you're by yourself, and that you don't really have any major commitments as such. But what the question that it is what motivates you to get out of bed now?
Well, what motivates me is the idea of being able to share these ideas with other people.
Yes.
Because I think it's so important, for one, that people become aware. One of Mary's first ideas is notice what you're noticing.
Yes.
We go through life just, by rote, not even paying attention to what's happening. But if we just step back and notice that we are the noticer, yes, and that we can see what's going on, and we can pause, and we can change how we react to things, that would be very important for other people to learn, I think.
Yeah.
The other thing, though, is I'm blessed to say that I did find a new partner. His name is Phil.
Good. And I apologize about that, just assumptions.
Yeah, well, we didn't get a chance to talk about that.
If you assume, you make a thing, but that is good. It's wonderful to know that you aren't on your own. But it's also good to know that there's things there that motivates us to get out of bed in the morning. There's things there to share. To share your wisdom, to share your gifts, to share your passion. Because one of the reasons why I love having these conversations is that you never know who's listening. You never know whose life you're going to impact by sharing your story and your passion. And it is such an inspirational story, Carol, that you've been able to take yourself from realizing that you're losing all these identities, all these roles and stuff, and to being able to now help people to step into their power of their vision, to step into their dream, and to overcome the discontent, that, and also the disconnect. It's both that some of us experience in life. When we're not contented with our lives, when we're not connected to ourselves, then we're longing. We have this, I don't know what I'm doing. Where you're able to help people to find their path, basically.
Exactly. And you said it, because one of the first keys to helping you find what would you love is to look at your longing and discontent.
Yes.
Where do you want more in your life? And that will help you define what you would love.
We talked a little bit, I think I remember a little bit before too, about our fears. and how that affects our life. And I know you help people like to befriend your fears. So tell us about that. What's the process of befriending or becoming friends with our fears?
Well, I think one of the first things to realize is that everyone has fears and everyone needs to go past them somehow or another, right? And Bob Proctor used to talk about them as the terror barrier. You would get so far and you'd hit that terror barrier and then you back away
You
and you
back
don't
away.
go through it, right?
Mm.
And so a couple ways to think about fear is one thing Mary will say is that fear is just the boundary of what we've known to what we haven't done before.
Yeah,
And boy, that really brings
that
down,
brings it down.
that scariness of it, right? It's just a boundary.
Yeah,
And we can go past that boundary and we can expand beyond it.
yeah.
And another idea to help you befriend your fear is just to go back to your dream, go back to that vision that you have and
Mm-hmm.
feel that energy and vibration you have in that dream. And that's going to help you take that next step. And even if it's just one little baby step, right? It's going to help you take that one next step towards your dream. And with each step you take, you're now in a new position, right? And now you're going to see different things open up to you. Where if you just stayed back where you were and didn't take any step, you just have the same things around you. But if you take one step forward, you now have a different view.
I love that when you were talking about, the fears is just, it's like it's this side of the boundary. It's what we know. No, it's the boundary between what we know and what we don't know. Right? I just had the vision of it's like all you've got to do is just open the gate and step through to the other side and think. So I really, to one way of befriending our fears, definitely going to keep that one, is to remember that it's just that boundary. It's just that one step into the unknown, into what we haven't experienced before. And we never
Right.
know what's on the other side of the fence
That's right.
or the door or
Yeah.
whatever. You're just walking through the door into a different room. That's all it is. And doesn't that take away the power of fear? It's
Mhm.
like just totally takes it away. Oh, thank you so much. And for everyone who is watching, please do just remember, if we only take one thing from Carol, but I'm going to be taking a lot from our discussion today, Carol, so thank you. But, just to how to befriend our fears is just taking that one step into the unknown and allowing the magic, allowing our vision to really become solid, to stepping into the power of our vision. So thank you ever so much for joining us today. I said for
Thank
everyone
you.
who is watching, we will put all your comments in, Carol, and if anyone has any questions or anything like that, please do let us know and we'll get them to Carol. But do connect with Carol on your website, which is thecarolconnection.com.
That's right.
Such a
Exactly.
simple
Thank,
thing, you can remember that one. thecarolconnection.com. Thank you ever so much for joining us.
thank you, Sophie. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you.